Hi everybody, my name is Dan Cunliffe, Managing Director of Pangea, and thank you so much for joining us. Today we are talking about partnering. It's been one of the themes for the last 18 months within Pangea, about how we collaborate and work with people and drive business together. Today we're joined by a very special guest. JP Taylor is the Managing Director of OMNIA, who is one of our latest, most dynamic partners to have joined and starting to work with us. I'd like to give JP the opportunity maybe to introduce yourself and just take us through a bit about what OMNIA does.
Thanks, Dan. So OMNIA, we started the company about 2.5 years ago. The reason for us starting the company is we looked at the telematics space and saw there was a gap in the market where a lot of telematics suppliers are providing boxes and providing data and providing software. But the key element to that is assisting the client in achieving return on investment from the implemented technology. So we looked at it, and having been in the market for 15 years, having got the experience and understanding of how to use the technology, we started the company. And it's growing month on month. We're getting new clients on a monthly basis. Clients are realizing that it's not just about installing telematics, it's about using the data, and it's about integrating the data within their business processes.
And I think it's maybe like one of the things, not so much about the future, but really about the present, isn't it? It's about really understanding more than just about your fleet, but maybe more about what's going on around your fleet as well.
Correct. I think one of the downfalls is with telematics is the fact that customers are implementing it. They use it for the first 5 months, 6 months of installation. But what generally happens is if it's not integrated within the business correctly, customers tend to revert back to old ways and not use the data. So one of the key aspects of the OMNIA side, or the OMNIA business, is that we don't just understand technology, we actually understand the transport and the supply chain space. So we understand how technology is going to
better those areas.
Absolutely.
That's very cool. And obviously we're talking a lot about partnering and kind of working together, and a partnering situation is not just a supplier and customer situation, it's actually working together. And I think that's what's one of the things that we're starting to explore even further in our relationship. Maybe I can ask you one of the questions in terms of how you decide to work with one of your customers. Have you got an example of any good customers you might have brought to work with you, or kind of reasons why people chose to work with you, I guess?
Yeah, I suppose to the question about partnering and the ability to work with partners and go to market with partners. I think from my side, it is an important component in delivering a dynamic solution and a solution that works, not just from a technology point of view, but from a cost point of view and a commercial point of view.
Costs are important, right?
And I think having looked at the partners out there and service providers out there, kind of from a Pangea point of view and a partnership point of view, there were 3 key elements that we kind of selected you as a strategic partner, and that the first is from a flexibility perspective, the ability to understand that I have commercial constraints, I have certain constraints in terms of data requirements, SIM card requirements, and working with you, we're able to mold that solution to fit what we're trying to offer. So it makes, from an OMNIA point of view, it gives us the ability to go to market and be competitive from the word go.
And I guess you're not just looking at the UK, are you?
No, not at all. We're looking across the globe. We're now in the process of discussing a global contract that's across 50 different countries.
That's true.
So Africa, South America, the North America. So things are evolving quickly, and again, it's having the ability to have a very quick conversation to say, this is what I need, and your partner should be able to give you that solution or come up with that solution that enables you to go to market quickly.
I think one of the reasons for that is that we try and keep it as flexible with you, but also keep that communication going quite often and just really try and answer in terms of where we are. Excellent.
And so flexibility was one. I think support is a very key element to it. I think support, it's not just about saying I have a call center and there's a platform. It's about having the ability to pick up the phone at whatever time of day, whatever time of the weekend, whatever time of the year, and say, I have a problem. I need someone to assist me in real time, not and actively assist me. Not just give me advice, but actually say, let me take control of this because it's what I know how to do. I don't know data, I don't know SIM cards. I'm not going to say I do. But what I do know is, from your perspective, is if I pick up a phone, we've had two recent issues where a client has left the UK and gone to France, needed to track the vehicle. We quickly switched the package on the SIM card to track globally, and the client was up and running within 30 minutes.
I actually remember that because the client was almost at the tunnel already.
Correct.
And we realised that they were only supposed to be in the UK, and then they were like, yeah, we're going to go to France soon, so can we make a change? And fortunately we picked it up in time, and everyone was happy, which is the idea of kind of, flexibility and moving. No,
100%. So and the third component and the third element that I think is one of the most important elements is that when working together as partnerships, all partners need to be aligned with each other's strategy.
Yeah, totally.
So we've got a certain approach that we're going to market with, and we wouldn't be able to do that if you weren't aligned with what we're trying to do, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of partnering and in the way forward in terms of the industries out there that are going towards the partnership model, the key is aligning from a strategic point of view.
And really working together and try and get that sort of place. I suppose something else we can really cover is about what are the things we're going to be going forward. We're obviously talking about working together globally, which is really interesting, obviously from both sides of our businesses. But maybe some of the next parts about, where do you see the future of your industry going? What do you think is the next big thing?
Yeah, I think OMNIA have been in the process of creating dynamic solutions that I think that the UK industry will end up deploying.
Yeah.
And it's not just from a telematics point of view, but it's from a connected community perspective, using mobile phones, technology, using courier companies, trucks, people, electric bikes.
Creating an ecosystem.
So we're creating an ecosystem that uses connectivity. So I think we've been working on, and we hopefully will start that project in beginning June, and that'll run for an 18-month project. So we'll give you an update on the next one. And I mean, recently the OMNIA business, in terms of its core business, is telematics and supply chain optimization. Recently we've won quite a big contract, looking with a client who's got existing telematics, and us using their existing telematics to drive efficiencies through their business. So it's what we're seeing is a lot of customers are agreeing with what we're trying to achieve.
Well, that's I think for any business, if we set out to start a strategy, we would like obviously people to come along on that strategy, and whether that's at the beginning or kind of midway through that whole strategy, you're on the right path, and clearly OMNIA is doing that. I suppose in closing, I'd like to say obviously thank you to JP, UK Managing Director of OMNIA, for joining us. We will be interviewing more partners as we bring them on board, and really thank you for your time, JP, and obviously for the people who joined us. Thanks so much. I'm Dan Cunliffe, Managing Director of Pangea.